Welcome back to another video on the channel, and in today's video we're going to be going over what are the top 3 stocks you need to be buying, you need to be investing in before it's too late. And I will explain why it could be soon the deadline to be buying these stocks. So let's just get straight into it. The first stock on the list is Nvidia, the second one is Amazon, and Meta is third. We're going to be going in depth into all 3 of these stocks, but I don't want to waste your time. I just want to show you what are the 3 stocks right now. So first of all, I want to go into TradingView, show you guys a quick look into each of these stocks. So let's check Nvidia. I just want to show you guys we're trading right now 137. Keep that in mind. So we're actually, compared to all-time highs, we're actually at a pretty fair price. So let's also check Amazon. Same deal. We've came down from all-time highs. We're getting a quick pullback, as you can see, is on buying opportunity. And then Meta as well. We're getting a buying opportunity. I've been telling people to buy since here. I've been telling people to buy since the beginning of 2024. But I still see that right now could be an amazing opportunity still. So, all right. So now I showed you guys. I just want to just give you a quick brief that showing you. Right now it's currently Sunday, the 19th. So Donald Trump will be, I'm pretty sure, elected or inaugurated tomorrow. Yeah, so Friday was the last day of trading under Joe Biden's presidency. We could see S&P 500 did 55%, which is honestly not that bad. People say a lot of bad things about President Biden, but realistically, the economy under Biden wasn't the worst. So, but there is some arguments you can make, and this is not a political channel, so obviously you know that. And then NASDAQ 46%, Dow Jones 39%. Wow, that's awesome. But yeah, so let's just get straight into the stocks. So first we're going to go over Nvidia. And yeah, so the first thing people like to say about Nvidia, or usually what they compare it to, is AMD, right? Like that's like the main subject, the main company they compare it to. And I'm going to explain why I'm going to be investing in Nvidia rather than AMD. So what I usually like to say is that Nvidia is a market maker and AMD is a market taker. What do I mean by that? I just feel that Nvidia is the, both of them are competing, but I feel like Nvidia is the one who's creating the new products, the new innovation, and AMD is just the one who is kind of lagging behind. As you can see by the revenue, we can see, yeah, Nvidia's beating AMD with the revenue throughout the years. As we can see, 2024, 125% revenue gain. Only AMD is 13.2%. Listen, first of all, I want to say that AMD, I'm not saying it's a bad company. I'm saying I think an AMD is a very great company, very innovative in the AI space. And that, Lisa Su, their CEO, is an amazing CEO, nominated, I think, the best CEO, one of the best CEOs of the year. I just feel like in a race like this, you want to be on the side of the winner, right? Like, why would I be investing in, the lagging behind company when I could just be investing in, the winner? I just don't see why we would be investing in AMD. And I wrote down here, when you can own 90% of one key AI market with a single stock, there's no real reason to buy a second. And what do I mean by that? I mean that, look at the chart. And in the data center GPU market, Nvidia is taking 94%, at one point even topping at 98%. So realistically, AMD is not a bad company, but why would you be investing in AMD when you can be investing in a single stock that's running 94% of the data center market? Like, I just don't see why not. And look, if you check the numbers again, we could see the PE for, like, let's say, yeah, so I'm comparing Broadcom, AMD, and NVIDIA. NVIDIA is still the best price. You're getting the best deal. You're getting the best fair value for NVIDIA, as even though it's a huge company, people consider it a growth stock, you're still paying a fair price for it. You know what I mean? I wouldn't pay attention too much to the EPS growth. Like, I think this number might be wrong, 234%. I think they're both very similar, but AMD is obviously still going to have a higher EPS because they have more, they have less shares than NVIDIA. Obviously, NVIDIA is a larger company. They have more shares. But yeah, I like to pay attention to the revenue growth. As you can see, like, NVIDIA is beating AMD by miles, right? With the revenue growth percentage, right? as well as Broadcom, right? Another big competitor. And then yeah, so you can see the gross margin as well. You know, and Nvidia's gross margin has just been going up and up and up, and right now we're at 75%. And yeah, when you see that your gross margin on a company is going up, that shows that they're beating their competitors. Just like vice versa, if you own a stock and you see their gross margin slowly going down and down and down, that means that they're lowering prices so they could try to beat their competitors, that they're actually behind their competitors, right? So you don't want to see gross margin going down, because that shows that they're losing to their competition, right? Another thing I want to bring up is that the global AI data center market is like increasing substantially, right? Yeah, so as you can see, like 2034, the market size is just insane, right? And like $157 billion worth of market share. And it just seems to be just keeping going up and up, right? Like you have to always check, like, you know, obviously it could be a great company, but is the actual market for the products, like, is it growing in size? And in this case, yes, it is. And it's growing by a great amount. So I'm very happy to see that. Also, I just wanted to show people think that, you know, there's going to be more regulation. You know, Biden put regulations against these companies. You know, a lot of companies struggle with regulation, but realistically, there's no comprehensive federal legislation that directly regulates AI, right? There's no specific things that regulate AI. And actually, Joe Biden actually passed the Chips and Science Act, right? As you can see, it's actually it's a subsidiary. They're giving subsidiaries to chip manufacturers like Nvidia and AMD and Broadcom and all these. So it's amazing, right? So like all companies on US soil like Nvidia, they're being granted money in order to, you know, continue doing research on their products and semiconductors. So I think this is awesome that Joe Biden would pass this, and I think it, you know, we foresee more in the future that, you know, in the political scene, that, you know, US leaders are on the side of like AI and chip makers like Nvidia. So this is a great sign to see. Just like how, you know, the government is very in favor of companies like Palantir, right? How they're a huge, you know, consumer of AI from Palantir. So the next stock on the list is Amazon, right? So let's get straight into Amazon. So why do I want to buy this stock, right? Like, why do I see that they're such an innovative company, right? Because I love buying innovation, right? So first thing I like to look at though, and something that interests me, is that when you look at the income statement, right? I always look at like the sales, right? Like net product sales and net service sales, right? But usually like think like, what are they what is the service of Amazon, right? Like obviously, you know, the products, you know, they're making commission off the products from the website, but what is the services, right? So I just put not just products, and this has surprised a lot of people. So like what is Amazon's service? Because, you know, obviously we know that they have the whole website where people can sell things, but there's actually something called Amazon Web Service, AWS, and people don't usually know about this. Most like retail investors, they don't even think about this. So Amazon actually has this cloud computing software called Amazon Web Service that they're actually making more and more money off of it. Like, and you look in trillion, like this 228 billion, 271 billion, like it's going up and up and up compared to, you know, their product sales. So this is amazing, right? You know, obviously I have to somehow bring SoFi into this conversation, right? You know, people like to even say SoFi is the AWS of fintech, right? The Amazon Web Service of fintech. Like, that's an amazing thing to, you know, like people say that and they're like, oh wow, like I gotta invest in SoFi because AWS has such a great name to it, right? Like, I like to show this. Amazon maintains a dominant lead in the cloud market, right? Like, as you can see, Azure, that's Microsoft, Google Cloud, Alibaba Cloud, like all these other cloud softwares, you know, Amazon's beating them. And like, what? Like, I even put Amazon isn't even really a tech company to begin with, and they're still winning, right? Like, you'd think Microsoft, the big tech company, would be beating Amazon, but they're not, right? Like, that's amazing, right? I'm not going to get too much into like what is cloud service. You can search up what it is, but basically it helps businesses and, you know, it helps with like their online websites and things like that. You know, I'm just an investor. I'm not too much of a, you know, tech person, so I don't know too much But yeah, basically, I just want to show like they are winning in this. So, but also I also like I was just saying earlier, you want to check the actual market for these products. Is it going up? And it is, right? So in 2033, in billion, like 2 billion, in 23, like it's going up. The global cloud computing market is rising over time. So this is a great sign to see as well. So another thing that I like to look at is on Charles Schwab, I can see, like analyst reports and like ratings. And I like to see Morningstar has put a wide moat rating for Amazon, right? Like that's a great thing to see too, right? That basically a moat means that there's, think about it. If you have a castle and you have a moat around it, that means it's hard for other people to, get in, right? Basically for a company, that means that there's not, many competitors, right? Like think about it. If you were to go into the stock market and buy a company that's like on an online seller, like realistically, there's not many other companies doing this. Like, I mean, like there's eBay or like Etsy, right? But like, is eBay really super competing with Amazon? Not really, right? So that's why people think Amazon, with its AWS, you think eBay has a cloud service? No, it does not, right? Like Amazon's really a one of its kind. So that's why I think, just in general, it's a great stock to have, right? Great stock to have in your portfolio. CFRA is also giving it a 4 out of 5 star. It's amazing, right? I also like to check back at the numbers. You're getting this stock for 47 PE, 2-year forward PE of 33. You are not overpaying for this stock. I will tell you, in the past, I'm not even kidding, in early 2000s, this stock was literally like a Palantir. It was in like the 500s, 600s PE. Like you were like now at 47 PE, you're paying a great price for this stock. I will tell you. So, with the revenue, they're having great revenue growth. Their EPS growth over 100%. That's amazing, right? Their gross margin has been going up substantially too. And yeah, so I see Amazon as a great buy at the price right now. Getting Amazon in your portfolio right now at 225, it might seem like, oh wow, we're at the top, but realistically, if you look in the next 5 years, this is a good price to be buying at. So please take advantage right now. Like you're gonna see this stock after earnings, after Trump's inauguration, you're gonna see this thing soar. You're gonna see it go to like 260. So please pay attention now. Start investing now. The last stock on the list is Meta, of course. And there's a lot to talk about Meta. I could make a whole video just on Meta, why I want to be buying it, but I'm going to lay out some important key facts that we should look at. The first thing I do want to bring up to your attention is the whole TikTok and Trump, wanting to protect it, TikTok getting banned scenario. I thought it was very funny how, I predicted, I said, if TikTok does get banned, everyone's just going to go to Instagram and use Instagram Reels, right? So, think about it. If TikTok does ever eventually do get banned, I definitely see like Meta benefiting from it, because think about it, Instagram's just going to get more and more users, and that's just more and more ad revenue, right? That's more opportunities for ad revenue. And I think that's great. I don't know if TikTok's actually going to get banned. I think it'll be okay, but I think, people saw that, oh wow, Reels can be a really good alternative for TikTok. So I think that's a great sign to see, as well as, Reels, even though it's new, it's been gaining more and more traction year over year. So that's a very great thing to see, as well as, people are putting some crazy price targets on Meta. People have been very hyped about this stock recently. If you've been reading, on Yahoo Finance or, just on YouTube in general. So that's a cool thing to see as well. But the main thing I do want to talk about is, all their products, right? Because the main reason I do want to invest in Meta and why I think it's a good time is that they have so many different products, so many different opportunities, right? They even have, it's called Family of Apps. I think that's what FOA stands for, Family of Apps. So yeah, it basically comprises of all their apps, right? Like Facebook, Instagram, WhatsApp, Messenger, and I think there's a couple more. But yeah, like such as like Meta Quest, like the VR, which we're going to show later. But it's crazy. I was saying almost 4 billion people use at least one of its applications every month, right? One of Meta's applications every month. Like that's insane, right? Like half of the world is using Meta's products, right? Like, how much ad opportunity that is? Like think about it. If you want to promote your business somewhere, like you would want to do it on Meta. You would want to do it on like Reels, because it's crazy how many people are using their products, right? Right? It's if 5 billion people have access to internet, implying that 75% of people connected to the internet globally are users of Meta's applications. Like, realistically, I want you to think about this. If you bought, like, okay, there might be a universe where, let's say, like Tesla, right? Might, okay, maybe they lose a lot of money at some point because of something happening, right? Or let's say, okay, maybe Nvidia, right? Something bad happens, but like realistically, like what's gonna happen to Meta, right? Like think about it. You have almost 75% of people who are connected to the internet using Meta. Like, are we all one day just gonna say, you know what, we're done. We're not using, Facebook or Instagram anymore. Like, that's not gonna happen. That's what you have to think about. Like, realistically, are people just gonna say, oh no, we're not gonna use Instagram anymore? Like, no, it's become literally a social norm. Like, I don't see someone disrupting this business. You know what I mean? I just can't see it. So that's why it's like, think about it, in 5 years, if you own this stock, are you really gonna say, oh wow, good thing I didn't own that company, such a crap company, right? Like, this is not a crap company. You have to realize this. Like, this is a solid company that's just doing more and more per year. The next thing, yeah, so I want to show you guys, they have the VR headsets. Like, think about it, this is not just a social media company. They also have products, right? The VR headsets, which are getting better and better. This is like, people are comparing the new Meta Quest to like the best VR headset on the market, as well as, now we have these new glasses, right? That are like virtual reality glasses. Like, what, are we living in the future? Like, I think it's awesome, right? And there's just more and more innovation to come, right? Like, there are more and more, new things coming, right? But there is one thing that I wanted to mention, like, people are also talking about like, oh, Threads from Meta, but like, honestly, I put flop. I kind of think it's a flop. Like, they kind of tried to copy, Twitter here, but it didn't really work too well. But, I guess, Threads is, they could improve on it. It could, gain more users, but for now, I don't think it's that amazing. But, there's a lot more things. But the one of the biggest things, though, that I do want to mention, oh, sorry. Like, one of the biggest things I do want to mention is the Llama model, right? So most people don't even know about this, right? They think Meta is just some, social media thing, right? They didn't even know about like the glasses, right? But Meta is actually in the AI space, right? Like, so this is called the Llama model, right? I'm not too keen on tech, right? Like that I was saying earlier, but it's the latest open source large language model development created by Meta. Like, what? Like, this company is out here making AI. Like, everyone's doing AI now. So like, wow, it's awesome, right? It's called the Llama model. It's like, it's going to help chat bots. I'm like, wow, what the heck? I'm not the best at explaining, so I'll quickly show you this video that I was actually watching.
Which also happens to be free and arguably open source. It took months to train on 16,000 NVIDIA H100 GPUs, which likely cost hundreds of millions of dollars and used enough electricity to power a small country. But the end result is a massive 405 billion parameter model with a 128,000 token context length, which according to benchmarks is mostly superior to OpenAI's GPT-4o and even beats Claude 3.5 Sonnet on some...
Right, so that's amazing, right? So this is their whole new product, and I'm very excited about it. I think this could be very amazing. It could be powering a lot of new chatbots. People, they were saying it's almost better than ChatGPT. So I'm like, wow, this is just awesome, right? This is a whole new thing that people don't even talk about. So we can compare this to other social media companies being traded. I don't know why it says SnapJ. That should say Snap, just Snapchat, and Reddit. And you can see Meta. So realistically, Meta's looking good for a trailing 12-month PE at 28. You're paying a good price. Like, realistically, you're paying a great price with the EPS growth 90%. That's amazing, right? Like 12, like Reddit's not even profitable yet. So, Meta, this is also kind of like an AMD Nvidia kind of thing. Like, why would you want to own other, social media stocks when you can just own the winner? You know what I mean? Like, I don't get it either. So that's a great thing to look at. As well as this is also, like, I tell people this a lot, that Mark Zuckerberg, compared to other CEOs, he's only 40 years old. Like, what? Like, you look at people, like, he created Instagram, I read it created when it was 26 years old. Like, what? Like, this guy is so young, right? Like, Jensen Huang, so you can't see, 61 years old. Elon Musk, 53. Jeff Bezos, 61. And I think Bill Gates is in his 70s. Like, dude, this guy has so much time ahead of him. He has just so many, like, he's not just going to say, oh, I'm retiring, pass it on to another CEO, random guy. Like, he has a lot more in him. He has a lot more innovation and keen intelligence. So I'm very excited to see what's going to happen, next 20, 30 years. I think he might have a couple tricks up his sleeve, right? And yeah, so pretty excited about that. And anyways, I don't know, I found this picture of money. Maybe you could use that as motivation. And yeah, so maybe I show you this too. I looked at my old pictures from a while ago. Actually, not too long ago, from the beginning of this year, not the beginning of this year, but like, I think August, September. And it was this guy. I remember I took a screenshot because I knew that he would, he was crazy. And he was like, oh, look at S&P 500. It's down almost 3%, like it's only 5,300. She's like, people are throwing the word recession. Oh no, this is terrible. And I remember, people were all so worried about this. Like you can see, I remember this. Yeah, August. It was around here, and people were like, "Oh no, I'm so worried." But I remember in my head, I'm like, "This is just a buying opportunity." People don't realize this is just a buying opportunity. This is no recession, and people are so worried. They're like, "Oh my God, what's gonna happen?" And now look, so like we're fine, right? Everyone's so worried. We're fine. Anyways, so yeah, thank you so much for watching, and please invest in these 3 stocks. I promise you will not regret it. And yeah, thank you so much for watching, and see you later.